Why tech's biggest billionaires want their place in space. It's the dawn of a new space age, at least for billionaires. But why are tech's biggest billionaires racing in space? What are they investing in space? With today's technology and resources, billionaires could launch space travel and kickstart a space economy. Is this, however, a good thing? Here comes the question. What benefit does the new age of billionaire space flight have for us? Hello everyone and welcome back to Unlimited Money. In today's video, we are going to discuss why tech's biggest billionaires want their place in space. But before we begin, make sure you subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss any of our amazing videos. And let's begin! Last year, billionaires Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson made headlines for their privately sponsored flights to suborbital space. Mr. Branson was supposed to travel to space a few months after Mr. Bezos, but he moved up the date to beat Mr. Bezos. Interestingly, Jeff Bezos' business, Blue Origin, criticized Richard Branson's achievement, claiming that the British billionaire's mission did not reach sufficient altitude to qualify as a space voyage. Elon Musk is yet another American billionaire who is passionate about space flight. Apart from past space expeditions, his business SpaceX recently deployed 2 NASA astronauts to the International Space Station. But why do tech billionaires want their place in space? Each of these billionaires claims to have been captivated by the concept of space travel since they were children. As business people, however, they can also see a huge chance to make money by using space resources. As with any nascent sector, it is entirely unclear whether they intend to tap from space at the present. One aim that has been specifically mentioned is space tourism. Richard Branson's space company, Virgin Atlantic, intends to cost $250,000 for a seat on a suborbital space flight. There's also an ambitious plan to establish a human colony on several planets as a backup plan to evacuate Earth in the event of a disaster. Also, Mr. Bezos, Mr. Branson, and Mr. Musk may be aiming to go down in history as the forefathers of the private space industry. This is likely why Branson hastened his voyage to space to beat Bezos. Finally, it's not simply these powerful businessmen who are interested in the space industry. Several smaller private enterprises are fighting for a piece of the mostly untapped space economy. Among the notable ones are Altitude Angel, Planet Watchers, and AST Space Mobile. According to some estimates, funding in commercial space enterprises has nearly doubled in the last year. Recently, public markets have been used to fund space businesses. Branson is a shareholder in Seraphim Space Investment Trust, a publicly listed firm that invests in numerous space companies. How was the space race before the billionaires got involved? For many years, the United States government agency NASA, which is supported by the citizens of the United States, was in charge of all matters pertaining to space. What's their job? To further humanity's well-being by gaining new information and expanding existing knowledge. And they came through for us. We were successful in launching the Hubble Space Telescope, the International Space Station, and a rover. But maintaining a space program comes at a high cost. In 2011, the Space Shuttle program, which had been active for 30 years and had successfully sent humans into space throughout that time, was terminated because it cost too much to continue. What do the skeptics have to say? The primary argument advanced in opposition to these billionaire-sponsored private space trips is that the funds being spent on them could be put to better use to meet the requirements of other areas with a higher priority. These critics, including a prominent politician in the Democratic Party in the United States named Bernie Sanders, believe that privately funded space travel and exploration are nothing more than vanity projects that do not contribute to the advancement of human knowledge or the general welfare of humanity. Those who advocate for the commercialization of space travel, on the other hand, point out that many emerging technologies, including automobiles and telephones, were also formerly considered to be luxury items until they became widely available to the general public. The majority of these individuals are economists, and they forecast that the price of services connected to space will decrease as more businesses enter the space industry to compete with one another and enhance supply. They further contend that innovations such as airplanes were the result of efforts that were privately sponsored, and that these efforts have been of tremendous service to society. In addition, there are many who feel that these excursions to space may have been taken by the billionaires as part of a marketing strategy to inspire confidence in the minds of consumers regarding the viability of space travel. Others, like the billionaire investor Ray Diallo, for example, are not against the concept of privately funded exploitation of space in and of itself. However, they do believe that the money could be spent more productively in other endeavors. In the meantime, there are those who are not opposed to the concept. They point out that even the majority of the world has not been investigated, and that the returns on investments made in exploring areas of the globe that have not been explored may be far higher than the returns on expenditures made in space exploration. So what's the issue with space billionaires? When for-profit firms are in charge of space exploration, the desire to maximize profits can easily become the dominant driving force. It's possible that super wealthy people will be the only ones who can afford to participate in space tourism, which involves taking pleasure rides into space. Think about the implications that could have for the surrounding ecosystem. It is the goal of Virgin Galactic to reach the stage where they are conducting 400 space trips every single year. Even just one of these journeys results in the emission of the same amount of carbon pollution as would be produced by traveling once around the entire Earth in a car. What does the future hold? The way in which governments formulate their policies around space will have a significant impact on the industry's future going forward. The industry is nevertheless subject to extensive regulation by governments all over the world, who typically justify their actions by stating grounds related to national security. Only a year ago, for example, India began to allow private corporations to participate in its space program in a limited capacity. During the height of the Cold War, most people in the West considered space research to be a subset of military research, which meant that no private companies were allowed to participate. Additionally, it was thought that private enterprises could not afford the high costs and risks associated with space exploration and research. However, during the past few decades, numerous nations, including the United States, China, and others, have begun to dramatically deregulate and open up their respective space sectors, which has resulted in the entry of a large number of private corporations. Additional deregulatory efforts in the space industry are anticipated to result in an increase in the number of private investments and innovative ideas. It is possible that as a result of this, space travel and other services related to space will become more accessible to the general public. The establishment of human colonies on other worlds will, among other things, bring into sharper focus concerns such as the delineation of property rights. Others argue that even the colonization of space by a small number of billionaires poses no threat at all, despite the fact that many people have already voiced their concern about the possibility that this may happen. In order for governments to exercise their own authority over such areas, it is expected that they will make an effort to regulate private corporations that are attempting to establish colonies there. Space technology is an important part of our modern communication systems, our ability to keep an eye on the weather, air travel, security devices, and a whole lot more. If this is the start of the space age of the 21st century, why are Americans so pessimistic about what it could do? Is there any reason to think that it will make our lives on Earth better? Clearly, we can see space as having a moment, but why regular Americans don't seem interested? That's another question. And that's going to do it for today's video. We sincerely hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and share it with your friends and family. Let us know if you have any questions or comments in the section down below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel where you'll see even more of our incredible videos. And make sure you watch our other videos that have been specially selected just for you. We look forward to seeing you in our next video. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching.